So I had a very long and tenuous night last night, but I did watch all of the games. There was two of them, and they did that really annoying thing where they had the two games on the same provider from the same provider, but managed to schedule them in a way whereas though no one is having any a good time. Yes, this game did go off a little bit earlier than normal. It started off at 8 o'clock. I am going to be 1 billion% honest. Weekend non-weekend playoff games should be when they're in the second round at the bare minimum, at least. One is like 2 hours ahead of the other one. God, I hate that it's like this. It's so fucking no. Okay, anyway. Uh me complaining about how I have to watch the games alone. Whatever. Let's talk about Pistons, Cavs, let's talk about Thunder and the Lakers. Yeah, so the 1-4 matchup in both conferences resulted in the team that won 60 games winning their first game at home. These were close games at some point, but I have to be completely honest with you. These are the expected results. Now, a lot of you have been calling Detroit completely fraudulent for having to deal with the Orlando Magic and being in that situation where they were put there in a very hard and arduous situation. Now, I would like to point out to everyone with a fucking brain that the Cavaliers would have put away that team in less games than sevens. But I just want to be completely honest with you. The postseason is about matchups. I 100% know that the Cavs would have put away the fucking Magic in less games. That just obviously, right? They have more perimeter. There's more perimeter help than just Donovan Mitchell and the guys. It's a lot of them. But the defense on the defensive end, right? If the Pistons had to match up against the fucking Raptors, that would have been miserable for everyone. You think it took seven? You think the 7 games that the Cavs took to beat them was bad? Yeah, bro, it would have been worse. Okay, let's be honest with ourselves, all right? It would have been 7 games, but they would have been even closer games. Because frankly, if you actually just look at the margin and the amount of total points scored between the two and up until game 7, that was a very, very close series. It was 669 to 669, right, in total points. The differential in the games, though, wasn't individually was not the same, right? I think in Detroit it would have been closer. So matchups make everything. I just want to say that before I start this. Detroit matches up well into like literally every single team that is not that was not the Toronto Raptors or the Orlando Magic. So I just wanted to point that out as an obvious. So what I'm trying to tell you is they match up into I thought the Cavs, given how they played against the Toronto Raptors, I was like, this is going to be your toughest matchup the entire postseason. That was like the worst that they could possibly be defensively. There is no way that it could get worse. And then we match up against the Pistons, and I'm thinking to myself, well, Jalen Duren is a complete fucking mop, and all that needs to happen in this situation is we play man and we just let Cade do whatever the fuck he wants to do. Cade can have 45. I don't care, dog. Just lock up the rest of the role players. They paid way too much attention to Cade, and then they decided that, and then off the attention that Cade was getting, they allowed Jalen Duren to be active, and it just. I kept saying to myself in this Cavaliers game, if they could get it into within 6 before the half, this is a very doable game. And then they got it all the way to tied and leading by 1 in the fourth quarter. The problem is, at this point, Jarrett Allen had been in foul trouble since the first quarter. At this point, Duren had been activated thoroughly off the motion that the Cavaliers are paying attention to Cade way too much. All of that, and the fact that Duncan Robinson was completely lethal and not put in nearly enough actions, Detroit has been doing a great job at hiding him. I don't know how this team has Donovan Mitchell and James Harden mismatch hunt Duncan Robinson off the floor. And Duncan was in foul trouble. I just think it didn't happen fast enough because he was torching us from 3 as well. There are so many problems with what the Cavs did last night that the fact that they only lost by 11 at this, and the fact that this game was close at any point in time, is truly stifling. They turned the ball over way too many times. A lot of that has to do with James Harden. It's something that seems to be a perpetual. It's continuing from the last series. To say that I am disappointed in the Cleveland Cavaliers is an understatement, to be quite honest. And yeah, I realize that if I wear that jersey while I'm recording, it just makes the wall look too barren. So I just can't unless I replace it with another jersey, which I don't know, man. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, full transparency, I'm very disappointed in the Cavs. Cade showed up and did what Cade did. It sucks when the two teams that you've been rooting for the entire regular season match up against each other in the postseason. That's why when the Spurs inevitably match, why if the Spurs or Timberwolves match against the Thunder, I will be hating on the Thunder. It'll be easy. It'll be great. I love rooting for Anthony Edwards. It's easy. I love rooting for Wemby. This is very easy, man. Yeah. As far as there's gonna be a Knicks game today against Philadelphia. This is a similar. I feel the exact same way about both of the East games that I do in general. Honestly, all the games really have not been that close for that long. And you can really start to see where it spells the end in the first quarter for each one of these teams. Hey man, if you let Cade go off, this is gonna be the final result. If you let Jalen Brunson go off, that's gonna be the final result. If you let and I want to point out the Lakers game really quickly because I think this will be grossly swept under the rug. Shea had an awful game for Shea standards. Shea had a terrible game, and the Thunder still won. And it wasn't particularly close, and Jalen Williams wasn't playing. So when I tell you that the Lakers were destined to be a second round exit if they faced the Thunder, I mean it. I meant it. Genuinely, the fact that the Lakers made it to the second round, I know a lot of you were surprised. I had always pictured them as second round exits, to be quite honest. Even if they made it past Houston, which I thought they would make it past Houston if they were fully healthy, but I didn't know they could beat them without the fucking health. Austin is, look, I just didn't have any expectations for Austin last night. I didn't. Austin's coming off an injury. Obviously, what is this? It's his third game back, and what he had an oblique injury, a back injury. Yeah, dog. I just wasn't expecting him to look great, especially not against the Oklahoma City Thunder's defense. Now this is probably the weakest the Thunder is ever going to be because they're still without Jalen Williams. But like the Lakers don't have a real big, so Chet's gonna look good in this series. I'm not surprised that the Lakers lost last night. I'm not. The analysis for that game is you guys did a great job on Shea. Shea had a lot of uncharacteristic turnovers. He honestly should have had more turnovers if you watch the game than what was recorded in the stat log. I think he finished the game with like 5 turnovers. He scored. They held him to under 20 points. I think it was 4 of 18 shooting. He did get a little shit off at the line, but like as far as how to play defense on Shea, that is how you play defense on Shea. And even if the result had been different and Shea was just busting their ass, you live with the results. That's how you play defense on him. That was perfect defense. The problem is with the amount of attention that Shea was getting, Chet was getting whatever the fuck he wanted. And if Jalen Williams was on the court, it wouldn't be any better. I'm sorry. Like this is very similar to what the Raptors were doing. Well, not literally, but this is similar. I have a similar vibe and feeling of this. If this series continues the way that it's going, that like how the Raptors were treating Curry in the finals. Like, yeah, bro, we're going to make Curry have a miserable time. And if Curry just had, I don't know, a little bit if Curry just had Clay in that series, the Warriors still would have won. The Warriors would have won. If Curry had 70% KD, the Warriors would have won. If Curry had the same bench that he had from previous years, Curry would have fucking won in that. But yeah, I don't like to deal in hypotheticals. Let me just tell you what it is. OKC is going to sweep this team. They're going to sweep this team unless we get and by the way, the rebounding from LeBron last night was perplexing. Yeah, I know the Thunder is long and tenuous and have good positioning and stuff like that, but like why did you have like 2 rebounds in the third quarter? I mean, I know that's not really like a normal thing for Braun, but like that was really exceptionally weird. I've never seen that before out of LeBron James in my tenure of watching him. I've been watching him with an expert lens, I would say, for like 8 years. I've been watching him basically his entire career. It's been my entire lifespan. Crazy. Yeah, but I was talking shit to a Thunders fan, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on with your team?" It was like LA is kind of LAing right now. What the fuck's going on? They're kind of keeping up with you. What y'all are like the de facto #1 team. What's going on? I'm like, I know you don't have Jalen Williams, but no one was expecting you to be able to fuck with them to be able to fuck with you regardless, right? And then they just like stopped being able to fuck with them, and I was like, oh yeah, yeah. I was like, my bad. Talking out of character, turning out of character. Yeah, for Cleveland, I analysis. Do you real? I don't. Do we really need analysis real quick? Asar was great, even though Asar was in fouls. That's another thing. A lot of defenders in this postseason, despite the thing that I've been saying, like the defense has been like staggering, and like they've been really letting these guys play defense. A lot of these defenders are still in foul trouble, and Harden was still getting to the line. I think if Harden can just like fucking hit some shots that are not just at the free throw line, we can win these games. If Harden can turn the ball over a little bit less, we can win these games. They're very winnable games in my mind. I know this. The thing for me though is like Cade started the game shooting hot, and if and the way Cade finished the game was not spectacular, I'm literally looking at the Cavs like the turnovers are what killed you. The fact that Mobley and Jared Allen were not involved in the offense nearly as much as what killed you. The fact that Thomas Bryant had to take minutes at all because Jared Allen was in foul trouble. By the way, Kenny Atkinson, if Thomas Bryant touches the floor again in a playoff game, I will find you and write you a strongly worded letter telling you to never put Thomas Bryant in a basketball game ever again in the postseason. He shouldn't even be in regular season games, to be quite honest, let alone postseason games. I know Thomas Bryant is an NBA champion with the 2023 Nuggets, but like, dog, they did not play him in the postseason that much for a fucking reason. Every time he's on the court, he makes me scream. Especially considering we can stagger the bigs minutes. And I don't know if you know this, but we could just run D Wade at the 5. I know everyone's in their head thinking to themselves, D Wade at the 5, what the fuck? Yeah, if there's an actual big on the court, then that's something you can't run. But you can't run Thomas Bryant, point blank, period. Small ball D Wade 5 would probably be better. And I'm surprised that he doesn't do that, considering he was coaching with the Warriors. That's like all they run is small ball. Fuck it. Run Jalen Tyson at the 5. Run D Wade at the 5. Run any of our taller. Run Larry Nance Jr. I'm serious when I say this. Larry doesn't space the floor at all. But like, at least if Larry was in 5 feet of the fucking basket with no one paying attention to him, he's gonna get the ball and go up with it. God, I hate Thomas Bryant. I don't say that lightly. I hate Thomas Bryant minutes. If he is on the court, the Cavs have no shot in hell at winning. I'm just, Keon Ellis finally is in a series where it actually makes sense to play him because the defense that the Detroit Pistons plays is not as nearly as staggered or as hard to move as the Raptors were. Which, by the way, the Raptors are going to be. I'm so serious. If the Raptors get a rotation and like figure it out and get rid of Brandon Ingram and replace him with someone who's like suitable, and they get like decent shooting like they had in the postseason like this year, and they have more experience, they are going to be a fucking problem in the next year. Not 2 years from now, not 3 years from now. They are going to be a problem next year. Keep that in mind. As far as what I have to say, hey, that's it. Sometimes there are going to be shorter videos, man. Is there any basketball controversies that Jaylen Brown got fined $50,000, which rightfully so. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about the refs had an agenda or something. No. You raising that off arm is a pretty good reason to call a fucking offensive foul. You foul niggas. You bull niggas over. You have the most calls on that thing because it's the thing you do the most. Now Harden doesn't get called for nearly as much as you do, but I think Harden gets called for different offensive fouls. Yeah, no, just no, dude, no. That was I don't know where you have the audacity to say that. That was stupid. The $50,000 that they fined you is not a lot of money to you. You're a fucking multi-millionaire. But like you deserve to be fined for that shit. Those comments made no sense. In better news, I'm getting better with barbering my own hair. So there's that. If you think it looks bad, it's just because I'm chopped. I don't know what to tell you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you have any recommendations on something that I should be covering in the postseason that's not basketball related, because I will be covering literally every single game, with as much analysis as the game requires, to be quite honest. Because again, yeah, I don't think I need to tell you, Austin Reeves after an injury, playing against one of the best defenses of all time, not gonna look good. Not gonna look good. I think Shea being as bad, the fact that Shea was as bad as he was in this game, and the Thunder still won by what, double digits? I'm not exactly sure the exact final score, but they won by double digits if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the Lakers, they don't have a chance. Unless Luka comes back and he's 100,000% healthy, they don't have a chance. And even if Luka's there, that just means that Shea is going to have either Austin Reeves or Luka on the floor against him. Or literally the best case scenario for the Lakers at that point is what, are a 41-year-old LeBron James switch on them. I think LeBron in this series would have, if Luka were healthy, would have to come off the bench. When Austin come off the bench and have one of the three guys be the on-ball guy and have this other one be an off-ball guy. They're all good off-ball creators. They're all good on-ball creators. That would be the best situation for this team. Luka's not healthy. You don't have a chance. I don't even think with a healthy Luka it's perfect, but there is something that I could say about that. There's nothing. There's nothing. I will be enjoying thoroughly, at least. I will thoroughly be enjoying the second Spurs game in San Antonio, because I thought that they were, I don't want to say they were invincible at home, but I didn't think they would lose. I would like to see that. We will see that today. And then as far as the East game and the Knicks and the Sixers, hey buddy, Sixers, show up this game. I need more out of Tyrese Maxey. I definitely need more out of Tyrese Maxey. I need you to go after Jalen Brunson if you want to make this a series. And what Embiid was doing with the bigs, that was fine, dog. The field goal percentage, not great, but I acknowledge that you're playing through an injury. And also, if anyone's wondering, yeah, Harden's still, that broken hand that Harden is dealing with, like he's still dealing with that. That's probably why his passes have not been nearly as good as they normally are. And yes, Harden does turn the ball over a lot, but he hasn't even had the ball nearly as much as he normally did in previous postseason runs, at least recently in the last 3 years. So this is the least usage that I've seen from him. Yeah. Kenny's still trying to stagger his minutes with Donovan. I just don't think that works. Donovan's going to have to play I think we're going to have to play heavy minutes in this series. I think the guys are going to have to play heavy minutes. I don't know about the bigs, but yeah, I think those are. Also, we just don't have really anyone for Tobias Harris. He's I don't know if you know this, Tobias is taller than most forwards, a lot of them. So when Tobias is put at small forward, that is a problem for this team. He is bigger than literally every single forward we have on this team. With the sole exception of probably Dean Wade, which I don't want Dean Wade on fucking Tobias Harris. I want Dean Wade on somebody else. I guess try to slow Cade down with Keon Ellis, see how that works. But Keon's too small. And the bigs are too thin to deal with Cade as well. So there's that. I don't really know what to say. Good luck though. Good luck, Cleveland. I'm rooting for you. And as far as the Spurs, hey bro, tie the series. Make this a series. Make this a series. Yep. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I really didn't have a lot to say, or the fact that we made it to the 18-minute mark is surprising. Yeah. Bye. Have a good day.